pampered, spoiled brats to get over themselves. The election has been won, and Donald Trump will be your next president. Joining us now is President-elect Donald Trump's senior advisor, Kellyanne Conway. We've been friends for over 20 years. Did I ever send you a therapy dog? Did I ever send you hot cocoa? Did I ever give you a crying room because you lost? Did we ever protest together? I don't think so.
Maybe a cigar and a cognac here and there, which is more our style. And certainly not to degrade the office of the presidency or cry crocodile tears into that cognac about who had won the election. I mean, look, I was raised the way you were raised, very humble beginnings, but most importantly, we were always raised to respect the office of the presidency and its current occupant and the flag. And that's it, and all that that represents. And, you know, Sean, when I listen to the protesters, when I listen to the professional politicians whine and cry over Donald Trump's election, I haven't heard anything new. All of their grievances and complaints are so pre-election. We heard all of this. We heard it constantly from the elites. We heard it from the mainstream media. We heard it from many of the paid protesters before the election, and yet it was rejected. Donald Trump got he got 60 million, 65 million votes. He got over 42 million, about 30 million of women voted for him. He got a larger percentage of the African-American vote, larger percentage of the Hispanic vote, about the same percentage, slightly higher among unmarried women. I mean, this is a man who was elected fairly and squarely. And by the way, what do these people actually fear? Do they fear that he is going to provide job creation and economic growth for all those folks who are being told by college professors we're going to have safe spaces and we're now going to give college credits if you'll protest the election of Donald Trump? I'll tell you what, 2 weeks ago, what was all the narrative? All the talk on cable TV and elsewhere was what? Will Donald Trump accept the election results? That was a great question to ask about the wrong candidate and the wrong candidate's movements. And it's the people who defied Donald Trump before he was elected who now will not accept the election results. I like the fact that Joe Biden today, the vice president, said that they weren't ready, their government wasn't ready right away, and the Trump-Pence administration can't be formed overnight either. He said he feels, quote, confident in having met with Vice President Pence and his family today. He feels confident that the government is in good hands. So, you know what, folks? You were for Obama and Biden. Listen to Obama and Biden. They're trying to give Trump and Pence a chance.
Look, they need it. It's not easy to build a government, but you see what's happening. Even Alan Dershowitz went to bat for Steve Bannon, and Joel Pollak and Pam Geller, prominent members of the American Jewish community, saying that this is a smear and a slander against Steve Bannon. You see what's written about Rudy Giuliani, obviously an attempt to prevent Donald Trump from picking Rudy Giuliani. And I'm going to argue that whoever he picks is going to come under a lot of scrutiny and fire that Obama's picks never came under. Are you prepared for what the continuation, basically, of a corrupt media that had colluded, and we learned had colluded with the Clinton campaign during the election cycle? Do you expect that it's going to be different for you guys?
Well, we know it's going to be the same it was pre-election. And I would just tell these people, give this president-elect his opportunity to nominate and to appoint his cabinet, his senior team. And the idea that it's presumptively negative against each of them, the idea that the person is guilty until proven innocent as a senior staffer or a member of the cabinet is really unprecedented, Sean. And I will tell you about a meeting I had today with President-elect Trump and Leonard Leo, the head of the Federalist Society. Senator Sessions was there. We talked about the Supreme Court. We talked about President-elect Trump's list of 21 possible nominees to the United States Supreme Court to fill that vacancy due to the untimely death of conservative jurist and constitutional hero Antonin Scalia. And we talked through the list. We talked about all the vacancies in the federal judiciary below the United States Supreme Court, in the circuit courts, and other legal positions. It was a very productive meeting. And I think if people had witnessed that meeting, they would see that this is a very engaged president-elect who's going to make good on his campaign promises and do what's right by the country. But, you know, we're treating these adolescents and these millennials like precious snowflakes. I'm just amazed how many texts and emails I'm receiving as one person of all these professors saying you don't have to take the test, you can get college credit if you protest. What's the worst thing that can happen to these millennials? That Donald Trump will make good on his promise to create 25 million new jobs, that he'll unleash energy investment, that he'll get rid of the Obamacare penalty on day one so that you're not forced to buy government-run health care. I mean, what is the worst thing that can happen to them? That millions of Americans currently in poverty and without health insurance will actually do it, get it?
Okay. What will Kellyanne's position be in the Trump administration?
Well, President-elect Trump has made very clear that he would like me to continue to serve him the way I have been, in a very unique position for him. And I want to be there for my best and highest use, so that those are conversations that he and I are having. I don't look at myself as a huge priority. I'd rather watch him form his cabinet and and take these calls.
I think you're a huge priority. I'd put you right at the top of the list. You were great for Donald Trump.
Well, thank you. I will continue to support him and his presidency, and Vice President Mike Pence, who I've worked with for a dozen years, any way that they feel that I can be most helpful.
I only want one thing from Mr. Trump, and it's not an invitation to a stupid ball. I hate them, or the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I've never gone. You're coming. Huh?
Inauguration Day is my 50th birthday. You have to come.
Okay, I'll try. I've never been to one. I only want one thing. Just keep your promises. Keep your promises, right, and don't listen to these idiots in Washington. That's my advice.
Sean, he's already doing it. He's already draining the swamp, and I think that's why you get all of these negative, unattributed quotes in the print press these days, and some people on TV who don't know what they're talking about. I think they're scared to death that this guy is really going to shake up the system, that he means what he says when he says we don't need all these consultants, we don't need all these lobbyists, we don't need all these professional class.